G'day everyone, welcome along, welcome to Steel Horse Station. Sorry about the little delay there, just getting things organised. We are heading off to the Oaks, so we'll probably best go straight there. So let me just find the right buttons, and that should just about be that. I was just having a few, I'm still having a few difficulties. This is quite interesting. So as you can see, we've purchased a conveyor. So since last time, a few things have happened, and I'm wondering if I'm getting a couple of conflicts. So I tried to deliver from the store, and for some reason that conveyor has gotten very confused. So we got the truck, it delivered the trailer. So what basically happened after the end of our last stream was I continued to have trouble with those weeding contracts, and despite the field saying that small weeds would require a weeder, I couldn't get a weeder to go. We couldn't afford at that point a hoe. So I didn't bother too much with trying to make that work. I sort of cut our losses and zeroed us back, returned the weeder to the store, and decided that the kids would have to just proceed with fertilizing contracts. So they did three of the only three fertilizing contracts that were available, and that was all fine, but that just gave us enough money to buy this. But this is really interesting because it's proving just a little bit. Why have I got a worker in there? How have I got a worker in there? That's how I've got a worker in there. Okay. Turn off conveyor belt. Yes, very good. Fold. No, I don't want to unfold it. It really is not behaving itself at the minute. Let's try unfolding it again. It got very close to getting here. Okay, so I can put the boom down. What I don't understand is why it will not go forwards and backwards. Yeah, I am. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Ah, there we go. It seems to be... It seemed to have got itself really confused. It's obviously really slow. I had it on the back of the truck, and I don't think it liked being strapped down at all. So, but welcome along, Mark. Great to see you. But thankfully I managed to get it really close. And it was only in the last little bit that I got tangled up. So at this rate we will get there eventually. We've only got to go around the corners. The other thing you'll notice that I've managed to do during the week is I decided the single gate was a problem, and it was a bit too close to the road. So I've been investigating gates. So I duplicated it, and I also managed to get the gates to open just slightly more than 90 degrees, so they were out of the way and just made it a little easier to get in and out. So that's all good. Did commence flattening up there. We'll have to turn that on again in just a second. Okay. Now, I'm of the understanding I don't need to actually go right in with this thing. It'll just pump out. How do I get them to stay open? They remember the state. They're my gates, so they're just replaceable. So they remember the state that they're in when you save the map. What I have discovered, because I was going to do well, I intend to do a little video on gates, but there's at least 2 different ways, possibly more, that they're put into maps, which made it a little bit confusing. It turns out the easy way is how they're done on this map. If I drive through them, they close. I do not have that experience. If that's the case, so it depends on the gate. So the gate will be defined in the map or in the nature of the gate itself, and it'll either have a trigger for the animation or not. Some of the gates on the map do, and some of the gates on the map do not. And as it happens, the one I copied to put in to the opening at the yard here does not. So I stole this one not from one of the regular farms, but from in fact the opening just over there. All right, so this doesn't have an automatic opening trigger on it. But as Mark Haythorne was alluding to, depending on the gate and which script it's calling, will determine how it behaves. And that was exactly why I was going to do a little video on it, because just getting it to open past 90 degrees, I thought was a pretty handy thing on particularly maps like this when you often need it out of the way. Now, some of the maps that I've looked at, the map maker's gone to the trouble of, or used a package that has a variety of opening distances. So, very interesting topic, gates, basically. Now, where were we? Yeah, so the mod that Mark's talking about gives you the ability to, in effect, adds a trigger to all gates rather than just the ones that have them. Now, let's go with, we want, what am I doing here? Let's try getting the right trigger up. Bunker silo mode. And you should be good. So you can keep chomping away there. And we can go and look at what we need to do. So one of the tasks today is to cut this grass here. I'm guessing we'll just poke our head through the hedge over here. Just sort of look away. G'day, Jack Sarge. Yep, this grass over here needs cutting as well. So we've got grass cutting, but that's of secondary importance given that we've already got a silo that's being compacted. The most important thing we need to do is over here. Is get some crop planted, and I began. So I limed part of it, and I'm pretty sure I brought the cedar over, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. Let's have a look. I definitely spread a little bit of lime on there while we had a fraction of cash. Yes, so we can, oh, it's the other side. So I've divided the field, as we talked about last time, into 68A and the balance. And when we get a chance, we'll put a bit more grass in this strip. We'll just sort of see how we go. But I've got the cedar running. I had the cedar running. Nearest waypoint. Ah. That's what I'm doing. I'm not seeding. I'm actually cultivating. Now I remember where I'm up to. Goodness me, brain not working very well. So, I started the cultivator to cut this field so that we can seed it. Because the edges are plowed. So now we go back to the yard. We can grab the cedar. He seems to be trundling along nicely. And I think what we'll do, I'm just trying to think what we need the so good question. A good question, Mark. So two things. Well, actually more than two things. First of all, the mortgage payments should be covered. So we've got, what have we got in here? 200,000 litres in here. So if we have a look, that's worth about 63 grand. And as we can see from our negative balance at the minute, which we'll sort out shortly, it's costing us about 15 a month now that we just take the human resource and the bank charges out on a monthly basis. So there's 4 months worth. So that's going to get us almost to harvest season. And then in here, we've got another, let's call it 400,000. So double again. So potentially between the two, we've got enough cash to cover our running costs and to think about a forage harvester. But I haven't got so far as to what are we going to do, which one, how much, all those sorts of things. And I haven't even spent time thinking about how much, like So we jump across. I can't even remember what mods I may have put in at the time. I wasn't thinking that it would make any sense for them to be able to jump to here. What I was more thinking was, is it here? Potentially, got lots of trailers, but none like what I want. Harvesters, mowers. I was thinking potentially of something along the Swather direction. But I was really kind of experiment with that, or something along. It looks like I haven't put in what I was thinking. So one of the forage headers, the tractor mounted ones potentially, which might sit here. I really kind of figured the main thing was we needed to get the crop in the ground, and then we could worry about getting it out. That was kind of the... Now, that mightn't be the right way to do it, but that was kind of how I was approaching it at this stage. I will take suggestions, of course. So if there's a way you think that would be particularly appropriate in the circumstance, feel free to recommend one. So, oh yeah, so some of these options potentially. But more research required. So that's the plan. Now, what I was just looking at, I cannot remember on our planter what is horsepower's 100, so we can pull it with only one of the two bigger tractors. Okay. So we'll have to let's turn you up a little bit. We'll have to wait and see how that comes together. But for now, that's kind of what I was thinking, John, was that we're on a track which could get us to that point. The other thing that now, what am I doing here? I need to actually turn you on. Turn on the conveyor belt will work a lot better. Oh, and Mark, thank you for the recommendation on the conveyor. That appears to be working pretty well. You're waiting for me? You might be. No, you're not. But in terms of loading, this is definitely the ticket. So let's head round to the animal dealer and sell a load. Let's turn you off. The other thing I was conscious of is that the point at which we would need to grab the forage, we should have the crop in, both of the oat crops in. There you go. So that was the sort of thing that I had in mind. And as I said, I thought I had that in already loaded. And if we've already got these crops in, and potentially if things go well during the harvest, and I know I'm being potentially a bit more optimistic than we deserve, then hopefully we will have a little more cash. It's under belt systems. I didn't look in the right spot. Okay. There it is. There it is. Cool. It is there. So basically we've got to find 65 grand, which I'm comfortable is in this second bunker that we've filled. And when you think about it, the cut that we need to do off the 2 grass fields that we've got ready to go, we'll go close to filling the third, and so we'll be on another cut by then. That's possible. I haven't decided at what point our credit is good enough that a finance company would extend us more money. So, you know, remember we've got a $950,000 mortgage and we're not exactly on good terms with the bank, and we keep running into overdraft every month. So kind of my realism gene is saying, not sure which finance companies would be all that keen to extend me more credit on capital equipment. So but you never know, by the time we get there we might we've still got probably what, 5 months to work ourselves into a better position. And the other thing is, you never know what might come up in the store, in the sales. So that's always a bonus. We will have a look at that shortly. Yeah, I have land, and I haven't looked at the actual ratio that we're running at the minute, but I kind of figured, I was working on the principle that, yeah, the family's been doing that for some time, selling down their or mortgaging their holdings and that, or selling them off, and they haven't necessarily come out well from it. So we'll see. They're all very good questions. Silage should go in the forage wagon, which might mean bigger loads. Yes, it probably would. That's a good point. I just notionally had in my head that I needed the tractor to... Oh, it's... Actually, I can't remember if this truck will pull that or not. We'll see. It's a good point. It's not exactly, it's struggling with just this weight, so I'm not sure that a bigger weight would necessarily go over well. The one thing I think we're all agreed on is a bigger tractor would be really handy. Yeah. Well, that's gone pretty close to getting us back in the positive at least. Welcome along to the other folks that are popping in the background. I did see you come in, Jack Sarge. I think I said hello. Hope I did. You might have noticed at the start that the truck from the store brought a little trailer. That was a neat little mod that I thought was in keeping with the first trailer that we had. The big advantage that it has is it's got a little auger on it, so if we take it somewhere and fill it up with fertilizer or seed, it'll work great to do little trips out to the field to fill implements, which is kind of what I had in mind. What am I doing? Did I just miss the turn? I did. Or didn't. Maybe I didn't. I wasn't intending to be quite as negative when we started in cash terms as when we started today. It was however, I saw that the tractor that we've got in, or a couple of pieces of equipment that we were using quite a lot the other day, needed some maintenance, and it turned out they were pretty darn expensive to maintain, so was a bit of a problem. There you go there. You're coming along. Gradually getting that field sorted. Need to put a bush in the front of that gate. Oh, and I was also able to get some of you might recall we were having trouble getting the forage wagon to deliver from the field to the bunker silo. It turns out I was using the wrong mode on autodrive. And as soon as I switched it to the correct run, it behaved properly. I do have them discounted a fraction, but nonetheless they are pretty hideous. Now what I think we're going to do is, did I wash the mowers? I did. Need to pull the forage wagon out of the way. Can't do that. How well balanced is it? Well enough that I can pull it empty. I run the way I approach maintenance, not really having a tremendously well informed eye, is I use the maintenance and painting cost mod and just discount them all. Not that I ever paint my equipment, because I actually quite like it looking worn and weathered. I'm not sure that any farmer I know would realistically paint his kit. Might slap a little bit of anti-rust on if it was a problem, but that'd be about it, I'd reckon. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just get this guy going on this field for us. So you can do 4 headlands. That looks good. It was right in front of you, numpty. That'll do. Looks promising. That's plenty of grass. We're going over here. You've gotten lost. I can't believe that you've finished compacting, but you might have. 60%. Not what I had in mind, but we might get enough space and just load it up with the grass that we're cutting here. You got yourself hooked on that bed. That's what happened. Ah, that was the one you meant. Excellent. Jason Rowe, how are you, sir? Welcome on. So this was the little trailer that we picked up. Cheap and cheerful. It'll do the job. Takes about 11,000 litres, I think. Probably a fraction over the top. It was more money. It took us down to $2 before I rolled the day over. I was going for a black auger pipe on it, but it seemed to be quite nicely detailed, so felt that it fitted in similar sort of style to the one we've got. That's all good. Now let's pull you around the corner here. Now, it's not a problem. It's perfectly acceptable to have your dinner while it's hot. Let's have a look at the contract situation for the day. Oh, that was I noticed that before last time. So this caught my eye. It's interesting. The game put the weeder that we bought that didn't work the way we wanted back in the sale. But this bridle spreader could, if we could find our way cleared with 15 grand later in the day, maybe. But of course, if we do that, that sort of just takes us further away. We're not going to get 129 fast enough to get the Voltra. And none of those other things are really a priority. Very good. I won't say anything, Jason. My father used to, or tells a story. He's in his 80s now, but when he and Mum first got married, they lived for about 4 or 5 months with her parents, and her parents and his parents in this regard were the same. They're away from that generation that, you know, dinner was at a set time, and in Mum's parents' case, you know, dinner was at 5:30 because Pa's office was only 20 minutes from the house, and he walked in at 20 past 5, and they sat down to dinner at 5:30, so dinner could be finished by 6 o'clock, and the dishes done so you could go into the lounge room and watch the news. Well, of course, you know, Dad moves in there and he works in the city, and he wasn't able to get there. And so he'd walk in at, you know, 6:30, 7:15. Lights in the kitchen would be off, the table would be set for breakfast, and his dinner would be on a saucepan over some water, just sort of cooling at the back. And this is pre-microwave days. At the back of the stove, the kitchen's in darkness. He said, you know, we lived like that for 3 months. So anyway, right, what am I doing? Telling stories, forgetting what the jobs are. So we were looking at contracts. That's what we're doing. We got distracted by the sales because we pressed the wrong button. So there are more of these crappy weeding contracts that lie. They say remove the weeds using the small weeds, but they don't mean it. They mean get a hoe in most cases, and we don't have enough money for a hoe at present. So we won't be doing any contracts today. Let's have a look at our recently planted crops. So we need to find, we have some fertilizer, so we can spread some of that. Good-o. In fact, we really need that little tray. I don't think this one's quite, oh, it might be with the weight on it. Let's find out. It's a nice day. Let's give it a whirl. Can we run the little spreader on the back of this guy? It's got lime in it, so let's empty you. Good on you, John. Have a good day at work, mate. We'll see you next time. Let's see if we can get some fertilizer on those. One advantage of doing the fertilizing contracts is we had a little bit left over. That was a deliberate part of the plan. But let's see if we can get the oats up to snuff. It's coming along quite nicely there, so we'll be able to start getting the seed out when he's done. Now let's just see. We're going to damage the crop here. We are not. Looks pretty good. That works a treat. Got enough weight on the front, so What I am thinking, and particularly just prompted by this, we could do a lot worse as a money-making venture than buy the kids, or see if we can pick up another one of these cheap older tractors than one of these spreaders, and that might be a better. Couple of the little tractors with the little spreaders might be a better deal than the big tow behind. Yeah, they have to be filled a couple of times at the field, but most of the fields on here, it's not too much effort to do that. And if you've got a little auger wagon that can bring the fertilizer pretty much to them, that might be a good way to pick up cash. Probably wouldn't want to be doing lime that way. When I spread lime over the road there, that took quite a while, and I only did really half the field, and it still took the best part of 10 or 12 bags of lime. So load spreader is probably the right tool for the lime job. Okay, so that's the first lap, and looking pretty good there. And let's see if we can try and do this without doing too much overlap. There we go. Ah, turned too tight. Managed to leave a bit of a stripe up there, which wasn't ideal. And yes, I could put course play on and do it that way, but I figured this was good enough for running around. Keep coming, keep coming. That's it. Curve probably wasn't the ideal way to approach it, but that's how it's getting done. Nobody accused Harold of being a particularly good farmer. You should play with enhanced vehicles, sort of a GPS system, but free on the vehicle. Not something I'm familiar with. I don't mind doing it freehand. I tend to use GPS on really big fields. And particularly with precision farming, it's kind of because it doesn't spread in the areas that are already up to speed. It's only if you get your overlaps really messed up that you waste a bit of product, but you know, we're going to get through all of this with less than a tank, so not too fussed. I will have to have a look at it. Is it on King Mods or is it an itch.io creation? Cool. I'll investigate. We just about got it done here. Try not to drive all over the field just to get these last little bits that I missed. That corner. And then we can head back and fill up and see how the lawnmower is going. Come on. Where did you? That'll do you. That'll put us miles ahead of where we were last year on that field. That off. And he's about halfway, so slowly but surely getting there. You've managed to get hung up on the wall again. Unsupervised. It's not an ideal combination, the blade and this tractor. It's not horrid, but what are we looking at there? 80%. We're getting the job done. Certainly plenty more room in there to put this grass in. We might as well whack all of that in. That's going to be enough for that last field, or for the second oat field. I've got to get used to the idea of out gates and in gates. Interestingly, Mark, that conveyor that you pointed me at, that is on the mod hub. The one I've got is off mod hub. I went to the link you sent me for King Mods. It would not let me download it. I just went to the link. Whoa, it doesn't like. Okay, that crop's a little bit longer. An extra growth stage, and we need care wheels. Interestingly, that the front wheels aren't classified as care wheels. I don't believe we've got a tractor with care wheels, nor one that we can try this one. Let's just see. Just stuck in Zwerkshoppen. While we're here. Oh, there we go. Customize wheel weights, rear twins, standards, narrows. We can put narrows on it if we have $1,000. Okay. So what we have to do, let's just check on a couple of other things while we're here. We have a couple of eggs. No worries, Mark. Thank you very much for popping in. Great to have you here. We will be on Newlands tomorrow as usual. So look forward to seeing you if you can make it. If not, we'll be back on Friday morning. Okay, so he thinks he's finished, which it looks like he has. So I reckon we'll run you in next door. And might as well. You're going to take all day to mow it with just this mower on, but we can't spare the bigger ones at the moment. You can probably tootle around here for the rest of the day, I suspect, trying to cut the grass on here. Open and close. Let's do 6 headlands on here. Generate the course. That looks fine. And exit out of there. Start that off. You're in the right spot. Excellent. That's what we wanted to hear. You can't go anywhere. Check in with you. I reckon I put the edge of the field just to the other side of the driveway here. The field, there it is, yeah. So it's got about another, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 up and downs to go. So turn that off for now. Jump out of there. Now, will the truck be able to deliver 2, Let's try that again. Drive. Pick up and deliver from the Putney main yard. We want you to deliver to the silage. Will you do that? I don't want you in the repair station. Automatic repairing and refueling, no. Fly. Right. You get out the gate safely with my new arrangements. Just too tight. Okay, we'll fix that. Oh, you reckon you're finished? Nope. You just decided that that was going to drop silage in the bunker. How about that? That's courseplay actually working properly. Who knew? So we'll let him keep going. We can't do any more. What we will do, just while I think of it, is correct that auto drive exit out of the yard. So unplug you off there. Just come back here. It's quite a busy little section. And you're just a little bit too close, aren't you? Is the problem? Should be enough to do it. Right. I don't know. Let's find out. Will this tractor pull the windrower, which is just sitting over here? If it will, we can whip round and windrow this field up. Let's try picking that up. Turn you on. Don't think you've gonna have enough horsepower would be my guess, but let's find out. Oh, maybe. No. No, you are not. Okay. It was worth a look. Let's see how the truck got on. You're fine. I'm going to leave you there until truck gets back. Is he almost there? Let's find out. Peter, g'day, how are you today? Welcome along. Whoa. Nothing like give way. Now the question is, where will he go in here? I suspect I've used the wrong sell point, which is why you're stopping there, because you don't know what to do with silage there. Let's try. Sell point. Which is bale sale, probably. I think. The only reason I'm not driving it myself is that I want to see whether it'll unload both trailers. I've got a sneaking suspicion it'll unload the trailer and not the dump back, but we'll wait and see. There's the trailer going. It may backpack further to empty the dumper as well. We'll just find out in just a second. Well, now we're back in the positive, so we can put our care wheels on the other tractor. You gonna go further? Oh, legend. No, you're not, because the tip point is too far forward. Now let's turn you off. Let's move you back. Let's turn you on again. Will you go back further? You're on the out round. Okay. We'll worry about that next time. I think the change that I made should fix it. So just drive in there. Stuck in first again. Actually, the trigger's almost big enough with this combination. We could have a route that drove through it. Hope you've been well, Peter. Relatively speaking. Jack Starge, if you're still around, if you get a chance to catch up with today's, you can go to drive to delivery. Today's Silver Run Forest episode, you will get a clue on how Jack's thinking about your suggestion, how Jake's thinking about your suggestion rather. So let's go. What was in there? Oh, you're all right. This is the one we want. Now that we've got $1,000, we can put some care wheels on. There we go. Customize you. Repair you while you're here. Yes, I've been quite well. Oops. Bring the fertilizer with us would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Now, hopefully, this time when we drive on the crop, we're good. We are golden. It's better. Actually, while I think of it, I'll mention it again at the end. On the episode I do on Thursday night, Friday morning, I'll be starting at least half an hour later. I have to take my daughter to the airport before I can stream on Friday morning, so it will just impact my starting time. She's down, or will be down, visiting from Brizzy for a couple of nights, so that'll be nice. Right, so our 2 fields of crop coming along quite nicely, which is excellent. And we're ripping the, whoops, didn't turn that very well. Didn't do that particularly well at all. Never mind. So if we can reliably send silage for sale now, then when we get this next bunker load fermented up, we can turn it into cash pretty quickly, hopefully. Go down and finish that bit that I missed. Little patch at the top, and then that will be that bit done. There goes the truck. So he's going to be back in the yard. And we can drive straight out, and that's that field fertilized. With just a little bit of damage at the gate. Welcome along, whoever's joined. It's great to have you here. If you've got any questions, we're on the Oaks. You stopped there. Makes no sense to me. There is no object in front of you. Oh, there's something parked in your parking space. Okay. I left a trailer. That would do it. The big tractor's got to be getting close to done now, so we might pull him off that job. He's driving away to his park position anyway, so he may in fact be done. Pop you around. Didn't judge that very well. I'll just fill you up so you're ready to go. We don't need to send another one just yet. Pretty close, 96%. That's all right. Let me turn you off. So if we quickly grab the windrower. Can run around and get that job done just on this little bit. And then pick it up. There we go. Very civilized. Well, at least by 10 o'clock in the morning, we've managed to get back in the black, so that's a good start. We'll see shortly how much grass we get off here. Well, it's looking like a pretty reasonable yield, so it's a slightly bigger field than you think at first glance. So it will probably be a couple of forage wagon loads. That'll be, I don't know, up towards 150,000, 200,000. Maybe, I don't think it'll be 200,000 litres, but maybe 150. Get around the corner there. Might as well scoop up that headland. Whoops, missed that bit. I'm looking forward to the coming weekend. The Formula One season kicks off again, so it should be pretty interesting. Looks like all the teams have played it fairly cagey through the first official practice in Bahrain. Should have picked that up and turned properly. Oops, just not quite wide enough for 3. Which is just a little bit annoying. So 2 it will have to be. I'll get that in. No. And just get 2.5. No, that's true. I haven't been paying much attention to the supercars, I must say. It won't be the same for me being a Holden man. I haven't quite got my head around the new homologation. Well, we're going up here, aren't we? Looks like it. And I haven't picked out a new supercars driver, so you know, I was Brock and then Scaife and then Lowndes, and now I need I don't mind watching Van Gisbergen, I must say. He's a more than handy driver. Who's your favourite, Jason? And were you red or blue? And if you're blue, you're probably still blue, but I did have a soft spot for Dick Johnson back in the day. And I credit Jason Bow as one of the most amazing drives across the top of the mountain in the wet one day that I've ever seen. Hit a greasy patch coming through Skyline. It went from full lock one way to full lock the other way. The car never changed direction. It was amazing. There'll be a few spots on this. Just don't quite pick it up. All the grass work that we'll do, I think, somewhere after the new tractor will have to be some better grass equipment. Ah, Kelly's are gone as well. God, I hadn't caught up on that bit of news. I think from a driver standpoint, it's probably Van Gisbergen for now. Yeah, my best mate had a lime green Tirana there for a while until he rode it off. For all those international viewers that aren't into Australian motorsport at all, the red versus blue is the big battle of the two major motoring brands in Australia, being Holden, which became a General Motors brand, and Ford. And they battled it out for most of the last 50 or so years. Largely V8s. Yeah, what am I doing? I'm folding you up, aren't I? Just pop you in the shed just because we can, actually. Oh, we got these stupid steering wheels on the back. My first car was an HR Holden 67 with a 161 blue motor in it. So that was my soft spot. I have had a couple of Commodores as company cars over the years, back when company cars were a thing. The nicest of which was an SS Commodore with all the options, V8, 6-speed manual. That could get a bit twitchy at times. Now we need to pick up this grass. My wife's father had a Kingswood, and no, his name wasn't George. Oh, absolutely, that we should have. Yes, they haven't been manufactured here for a long time. The Kingswood that Jason's referring to was a model of Holden in the 70s. It was ultimately superseded by the Commodore, which was a mark for, well, from whenever it came out in 70, I'm going to go with 77, but I may be wrong. '78. There you go. I was close. I certainly wasn't driving then. We'll take this corner down here. We must put some more forage additive in. Do that on the next pass. One of my colleagues, when I started work, and this will probably only mean something to you, Jason, Jack may mean something too, but his projects, this would have been late 80s, or was late 80s. He built rebuilt an XU1 from the ground up and put a supercharged 351 in it. It was the most dangerous vehicle I've ever ridden in. It was extraordinary. Now let's see, we need to move that. Yeah, over there. I'll just fill that up. Rightio, so we're getting grass off there. Let's check in on our man over here. Okay, so he's coming along quite nicely mowing. Yes. And it wasn't just a stock V8, right? And a blower on it that was just ridiculous. It was just one of those, because he was an engineer and he had the skills, and we had a good job which was paying him more money than he needed. He just went a bit berserk. He was wired up a little bit different than some of us. And I say was because he's not with us anymore. He most unfortunate, got hit by lightning. It was a missile on wheels, very much so. Oh, missed the corner. This forage wagon needs some maintenance. That's the other thing we need money for. $37.07. It can't have finished. We just looked at it a minute ago. It still had half the field to do. Oh, unless it... Have I got two 3707s? No, we've got the 3465 on the Ripper, or the disc plough. I'm confused. Which device thinks it's finished? No, he's still... That's the 3707. He's still mowing the lawn, so... Yeah, it's a 5465 that's finished by the looks. Very confused. Okay, let's see what happens here. Just take this wiggly bit. Probably won't make 150,000, maybe just on 100,000 off this field. I'm still pretty pleased with that. It'll work nicely. Did it again. Oh, it's bouncing me around. I've forgotten when oats are ready for harvest. I think it's barley comes in June. Barley and wheat, maybe oats shortly after. Let's have a look. Oh no, oats. Yeah, oats in July. Okay. We've got nothing ready in June. It's okay. So we've got June to finish getting the the corn in over the road. Although we can start, I probably should pause doing this and go and grab the seeder and get that, or the planter rather, and get that underway. Let's just grab this bit that I missed over in the corner. There we go. 67,000. Pop onto that line there. Just pause you for a moment. Now, mowing. That's the one that's all done. Lovely. Across to the yard. Pop you over behind the plows, I think. Ultimately, I can see us extending this yard into the grass here, with some more sheds for our gear as we start to gear up a little bit. Let's pop some more fuel in. And duck in and get that planter. You're going to take all day to plant corn in this field, aren't you? I don't think I want to put fertilizer in with you. We'll just let you plant corn. And you'll get as far as you get, I suppose. That is why we divided it, but even so, I don't think it's going to go very far. Correct field, open generator. Doing that, and then doing that. 2.5 meters? You 2.5 meters? You are 2.5 meters, okay. Number of headlands, 2.5. Start on the center. There you go. You're gonna get it on your own? I reckon you will. I have confidence. Right. Let's finish getting this grass picked up. Why not? That's better. That's much better. What I'm thinking we want to do is we'll put all of this grass into that bunker and then just finish compacting it and close that up with wherever it gets to, and the field next door we'll put into bunker 3 so that next time, well, so we've got a partial. Because then next time we'll finish bunker 1, finish emptying bunker 1, the mortgage clamp. And by the time the corn's ready to forage, geez, that didn't take long. Actually, all that is I forgot to do the setting on horseplay for the sowing machines use fertilizer. Deactivate. So now when we go first waypoint, now you are seeding, I hope. Yes. Correct. That's better. Schoolboy error. Right, can we get up 2 over? We're going to go up 3 over. It's the tightest we can turn, I think. I'll be quite interested to see how much sugar beet and potatoes the AI plants in this district. We can have a look in a minute. We should get a pretty good idea being in May and midway through May at that. Just get back up this row. I don't think we're quite going to get it all in the wagon. We are going to have to go and empty and come back by the looks. But might as well do it at the end of this road rather than just stuff with turning around. Had to look twice before because the draw distance on those bunkers is shorter than I expected, and I looked around and the bunkers were empty. It's like, where did all our produce go? Okie dokie. Pretty sure you won't back up there, so we'll just pop you out there. Don't think it'll let me compact over the top of it. No. Yeah, 84% it says. Goodo. Let's have a look at the surrounding district. Just see what is in the fields. So, well, there's a little bit of sugar beet. What are potatoes again? No potatoes. Oh yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 39, 49, 73 and 13. So, oh, maybe some at the bottom. Yeah, 78. So there's a few root crops. It'll be interesting to see. Are we out of the planting window? 67, 65 and 5 are currently empty. They may yet get some sugar beet in them. I'm pretty happy with that. Gotten that. A good number of chores done on our own property today. As the roads are in good shape. We ploughed those fields so they won't need weeding. We are getting some corn down in the big fields, and the fact we're getting any crop in there at all is probably a bonus. We've got good grass cut off, so that sets us up to get at least one more before the end of the year. So we've got a reasonably secured cash flow, I think, through to the end of the year. Now it's about getting some equipment that enable us to work a bit smarter, upgrade some of our aging pieces, take advantage of the labour that we've got. We really want to have all 5 of the children working, the young people working each day, and occasionally some of their friends. One little strip over there, and that'll do it. For new viewers to the stream, if you're wondering why that, even though I've got workers going, while we're not losing money, we're paying the Putney children to be our workers, and we pay them $1,600 a month each. So that means every month rollover there's an $8,000 charge on top of the 6,500 odd thousand for our mortgage. So that's how that happens. So quite often we start the day at the moment in the negatives, because we've just bumping along from literally paycheck to paycheck. Silage is keeping us alive, and the occasional contract. Although the added difficulty we have in this district is because they're not exactly flavour of the month. None of the locals will lend them any equipment for contracts, so we can only do contracts for which we've got the gear already. Right, let's fill you up. Drop you in the shed. Actually, while we've got cash, why don't we run down and not take the front off the landy? Let's park you in a shed. Don't know if I can get this into the workshop to service it. We'll just have to have a look. Haven't tried before. It's not the biggest door you've ever seen. I know we certainly wouldn't get it in through the yard. As I guess as I can get the drawbar in, maybe that'll be enough to. Yeah, I'm not thinking that's going to go in there. That was enough. 3,000, that's better. $1 on the weight, another couple on the Massey. Try not to back over this bloke's crop. There's just enough to be annoying. Although those bumps, if any of you get a chance to look at Farm Sim Brisco's actual video of this district, that's the pretty standard field edge. There's not quite as many hedges as he's placed on the map, I suspect, because making those bumps on the field edges in Giants Editor is a lot more challenging than putting hedging down. And I like that aesthetic of what he's created here anyway, so. But yeah, that was a pretty authentic field edge from what I could tell looking at his video. Let's pop you in there. Right, so let's get you back on the compactor. It'll probably be just about time to go and fill the feed up, actually. Let's see here. 60 back to 69%. Okay, get out of there. And given the I'll take you off the front. Pop the hook on because given the little planter only takes 200 litres at a time, got plenty of time to run over with that. Oh, behave. What? How did you get? Let's do it this way. How close can I get you? That's better. Tricked it. And your weight is somewhere. We need a couple more weights, actually. This is going to be a problem. Come on. No, you're just going to be difficult. Drag you out for the minute. Have any other weights here? The weight we bought is sitting on there. I've got a box over there which is not heavy enough, I don't think. So the short answer is no. I think there's a weight in here. We'll add weights to the list. Try the box and see if it... Oh, come on. You can go faster than 1 mile an hour in reverse, surely. He needs the seed we're taking. Just enough. Rightio, well, we'll fill up the planter. Wherever he is. All the way down the other end of the field. I'm glad we decided on half a field. You can see just down the end there a couple of extra bags of lime that I had left over. I dumped some at each end. He's coming along. We got some corn in the ground at least. We'll fill this up, and that's probably where we'll leave it for today, I think. Are you going to drop in there, or are you not going to behave yourself? Oh, come on. Where's the trigger? You don't want to behave, do you? Let's try putting you down beside it. There you go. Nearest waypoint. Off your trouble. And we'll take you back up to the top of the field. But yeah, folks, that's where we'll leave it for today. We'll be back in the morning, so in about 10.5 hours time on Newlands for the next stream, and if you're able to join us, that'd be fantastic. If not, we'll see you next time on the Oaks, which will be on Thursday night US and Europe, and Friday morning Aussie time. But until then, stay safe, have fun, see ya.